Hello, welcome to Troy University Student Government Association Officer Candidate Debate, televised on Troy Trojan Vision. I'm Brady Talbert. The Troy campus SGA officer election is coming up on Wednesday, February the 26th. And during this program, you'll get the chance to meet and hear from candidates running for SGA President, Executive Vice President, Vice President of Campus Affairs, Vice President of Internal Affairs, and the Executive Secretary. Some of the questions we'll pose to the candidates were submitted by students, and others were developed by members of the SGA and members of Troy's student involvement staff. In the first segment of the debate, candidates for the Executive Secretary and the Vice Presidential positions will each have 1 minute to introduce themselves, and will have 1 minute to respond to each of 2 questions. The order in which candidates for each office will speak and answer questions was determined by random chance before our telecast. It should be noted that the SGA Senate voted earlier this semester to change the titles of 4 of 5 executive offices to better reflect the role and responsibilities of those various offices. And we'll take a deeper look at those changes as we move throughout the debate. For example, the SGA Executive Secretary is a position formerly known as the Director of Administration. The responsibilities of the position include keeping roll, minutes at meetings, and planning the SGA retreat. Now let's meet the candidates for SGA Executive Secretary. Wesley Modling is a junior hospitality sports management major from Opelika, and Tim Schulter is a freshman computer science major from Montgomery. Wesley Modling, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself.
Well, Trojans, my name is Wesley Modling, and I'm a junior sports management major from Opelika, Alabama. In my 4 semesters here at Troy, I've served on Freshman Forum Exec as the head of the Student Welfare Committee, and I've also been in the SGA Senate as a senator for the College of Health and Human Services.
Thank you, Wesley. And Tim Showalter, you have 1 minute to introduce yourself.
Hello, fellow Trojans. My name is Tim Showalter, and I am a freshman here at Troy University who is majoring in computer science. Of course, I've arrived here last semester in the fall, and since then I have gotten involved with organizations such as becoming a delegate of Freshman Forum, a member of 101 Elite Men, and a member of Trio Student Support Services.
Now I have questions for each of you, and you will answer in the reverse order of which you just introduced yourselves. Starting with Tim Showalter, the Executive Secretary is responsible for the planning of SGA events such as SGA Retreat and SGA Inauguration. What strengths do you have that could help in the planning process?
Well, in terms of my strengths for running this position, I've gotten involved, of course, before with planning things for other organizations and getting experiences with leadership. So, of course, I want to expand on that further by running for this position to add to my resume of build-up of things that I've, of course, done with extracurricular activities while also excelling in my academics.
And Wesley, you have 1 minute to answer the same question, which was, the Executive Secretary is responsible for the planning of SGA events such as SGA Retreat and SGA Inauguration. What strengths do you have that could help in the planning process?
Well, since I've served on SGA Senate and as well as Freshman Forum, I know exactly what all these events need in terms of space and aspects of the facilities or what people we might need to be there and anything like that. So I know what people need just to get the job done, as well as what issues that the events that I've been a part of had in the past and that might need fixing next year.
Thank you. For your second question, immediately before we began, each candidate drew a sealed envelope at random containing a question pertinent to the office for which he or she is running for. Now we will hear those questions and the candidates' responses. First is Wesley Modling. Wesley, the SGA Retreat is one of the largest events planned by the Director of Administration. What plans do you have for SGA Retreat?
Well, I know in the past SGA Retreat has been in Atlanta, it's been in Troy, and when I was in Freshman Forum, it was in Panama City. So I know that each one of these places offers different things, like maybe going to Six Flags if you're in Atlanta, Camp Butterneg in Troy, or just the beach in Panama City. And it also has different speakers or other things that will help SGA plan its goals for the year. So that's just things I'll have to keep in mind for planning the retreat and making sure that it goes as successful as possible.
Thank you, Wesley. And now, Tim, this is your question. What qualities do you think an executive secretary of SGA should have?
Well, first off, with trying to be an executive secretary, the candidate who's running should have great skills for being able to organize certain events, with planning, of course, keeping records of, things that go on in the meetings, what people say, and just overall keeping a good record of that.
Thank you. Tim Showalter and Wesley Modling, your candidates for SGA Executive Secretary.